If you're sending out cybersecurity applications right now and you're not hearing back, there's a very high chance your resume is the problem. Not your skills, not your certifications, but your resume. I've been recruiting now for 15 years. I've personally reviewed thousands of resumes, and I can tell you that most of them get rejected in under 10 seconds. Not because the person isn't capable, but because the resume doesn't show it. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what a cybersecurity resume should look like to get past ATS filters and into the hands of a recruiter like me. I'll show you the structure, the mistakes to avoid, and how to tailor your resume for different cybersecurity roles. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear framework you can apply today. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name's Luke. I'm a recruiter, have been for 15 years, and I specialize in helping people break into cybersecurity. If you're not new, welcome back to the channel. Remember to drop a comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. All right, let's get into it. Section 1, why your resume matters more than you think. So before we get into the how, let me explain the why, because most people underestimate how important this document actually is. Your resume has two audiences. The first is an applicant tracking system, or ATS. This is a software that scans your resume for keywords before a human ever sees it. Now, don't get me wrong, not everyone uses ATS, and I appreciate that, but you need to go into each application thinking that they do use an ATS, so you're prepared if it happens. So if your resume doesn't match what the ATS is looking for, it gets filtered out automatically. You could be the perfect candidate and never make it into a recruiter's desk. This does happen. The second audience is the recruiter or hiring manager. And here's the reality. Now, when I'm hiring for a cybersecurity role, I might get 50 to 100 applications. I'm spending 7 to 10 seconds on each resume in the first pass. I'm not spending as long as you think on each resume in the first pass, because with that many applications, you're looking for keywords, you're looking to make sure that the candidate stands out. So the easier that is for hiring managers and recruiters like me, the better and the more chance you have. So your resume needs to do two things really well. It needs to get past the technology, and it needs to grab humans' attention fast. Remember those two things. Now, the good news is that both of those things are completely within your control. And once you know how to fix it, it really isn't that hard. Section 2, the resume structure that works. So let me walk you through the exact structure I recommend for a cybersecurity resume. This works whether you're entry level, a career changer, or someone with a few years of experience. Number 1, your header. Keep it clean. Your name should be large and bold at the top. City and state only, no full address. Phone number, professional email, LinkedIn URL. And if you have one, a link to your GitHub or portfolio site. That's it. No photo, no date of birth, no fancy graphics that break ATS formatting. One thing I would add here is make sure your LinkedIn URL is customized. It should be linkedin.com/your name, not a string of random numbers. It looks more professional, and it takes 30 seconds to change. Number 2, your professional summary. This is the most important section on your resume, and most people get it completely wrong. You get 2 to 3 sentences, that's it. And every single word needs to earn its place. Here's the formula I tell my coaching clients. Target role plus your relevant background plus your 2 skills plus 1 differentiator. So instead of writing passionate cybersecurity professional seeking opportunities to grow, which tells me absolutely nothing, you write something like entry-level SOC analyst with CompTIA Security Plus and hands-on experience building a home SIEM lab using Splunk. Background in IT support with strong foundation in the infrastructure SOC teams defend. The second version tells me exactly what you want, what you've done, and why you're credible. I can read it in 5 seconds and know whether to keep going. I want you to think of it like this. You almost want to think that if your personal summary, once they read that, they don't need to read anymore. You want to capture what you've done in that personal summary. Now, of course, they can continue and choose and look at your skills, look at your certifications, etc. But if your personal summary can really describe what you've done and match the job description, you're almost certainly going to get that call. Number 3, key skills. I want you to list 6 to 9 skills in 2 or 3 columns, not a wall of text. And here's the critical part. Match these to the job description you're applying for. If the job ad mentions Splunk, SIEM, incident response, and vulnerability management, those words need to appear in your skill section. This is how you get past ATS filters. The system is literally scanning for keyword matches. That's what it does. Someone sits there and puts in the keywords that the job description is asking for. So if the job says SIEM monitoring and your resume says security tool experience, that's not a match. Be specific. Use the exact language from the job description where it's accurate. And please leave off Microsoft Office. Leave off basic IT literacy. Anything that everyone has doesn't belong here. This section is for skills that differentiate you from your competition, so to speak. Number 4, experience. This is where most cybersecurity resumes fall apart. Here's the rule. Show impact, not responsibilities. Don't write responsible for monitoring security alert. That's a job description, not an achievement. Instead, think of it like this. Write monitored and triggered an average of 150 security alerts per week using Splunk SIEM, escalating 12 confirmed incidents to the IR team with a 95% accurate rate. Hopefully you see the difference. The second version tells me exactly what you did, how much you did, what tools you used, and what the outcome was. That's what gets you the interview. Once you get the interview, remember, you can then elaborate. You can talk with the recruiter, you can talk with the hiring manager about exactly what you did. But you need to get to the point in your resume. Start every bullet point with a strong action verb. Analyzed, configured, automated, investigated, detected, implemented. These words signal competence, and quantify wherever you possibly can. Numbers make your experience real. For example, reduced false positives by 30%, managed patching across 200 endpoints, conducted vulnerability scans on 50 assets weekly. Even if you're estimating, a number is always stronger than no number. Now, if you're a career changer and you don't have cybersecurity experience yet, that's totally fine. Frame your existing experience in security terms. So if you were in IT support, you were managing access controls, you were troubleshooting system issues, you were handling incident escalations. That's all relevant. You just need to use the right language. Number 5, certifications. List the cert name, the issuing body, and the date you obtained it. If you're currently studying for one, put it on there as in progress with an expected completion date. That signals intent and direction. Order them by the relevance to the role that you're applying for. So if you're going for a SOC role, Security Plus goes at the top. If you're going for a GRC, maybe ISO 27001 or SSCP goes first, if that makes sense. Number 6, projects. For entry-level candidates, this section is arguably more important than your work experience because this is where you can prove you can do the job, not just talk about it. Remember, the certifications you have shows you know the theory, but the projects you do show you know what you're doing technically. So list 2 or 3 projects with a link to your GitHub or portfolio and 2 to 3 bullet points explaining what you built and what tools you used. Home labs, TryHackMe write-ups, vulnerability assessments, SIEM configurations. This is your proof of work. Now, if you haven't watched my video on building a cybersecurity portfolio, I'll link it in the description. That covers what projects to build in detail. This video is specifically about how to present them on your resume. Number 7, education. So degree or course name, institution, and year completed. If you're a career changer, your prior degree still has value. A business degree shows commercial awareness. An engineering degree shows analytical thinking. Frame it that way. Keep this section brief unless you're a recent graduate with limited experience, in which case you can expand it with relevant coursework or academic achievements. Okay, section 3, how to tailor your resume for different cybersecurity roles. And here's something most people don't do, and it's costing them interviews. You should not be sending the same resume to every cybersecurity job you apply for. Different roles look for different things, and if your resume doesn't speak directly to the role you're applying for, I can tell you someone else's will. Let me break down a couple of the most common entry-level paths and what your resume should emphasize for each. So if you're targeting SOC analyst roles, your resume should be heavy on detection and monitoring. Mention SIEM tools by name: Splunk, Microsoft Sentinel, Elastic, QRadar. Talk about log analysis, alert triage, incident escalation, and threat detection. If you've built a home SIEM lab or completed TryHackMe SOC level 1 pathway, that should go front and center. If you're targeting GRC or compliance analyst roles, then shift the focus to frameworks and risks. Mention NIST, ISO 27001, Essential 8, SOC 2, etc. Talk about risk assessments, gap analysis, policy development and audit support. If you've done a mock compliance mapping or created a risk register as a project, highlight that. And if you haven't, make sure you do that. So hopefully that gives you just a couple of examples there on what I mean about making sure that you're including keywords and key accountabilities about what you've done. The point is this: every time you apply for a role, you should be reading the job description carefully and making sure your resume mirrors that language. It may take an extra 15 to 20 minutes per application, but it honestly dramatically increases your chances of getting through. All right, section 4, the 7 resume mistakes I see every week. Now, I want to save you a bit of time by telling you exactly what not to do. And these are some mistakes I see constantly, and every single one of them will cost people interviews. Mistake 1, a generic professional summary. Passionate cybersecurity professional seeking a challenging role. Can't tell you how many times I see something like this. It tells me nothing about who you are, what you can do, or why I should care. Replace it with the formula I gave you earlier. Be specific, be direct. Mistake 2, listing responsibilities instead of accomplishments. So what do I mean? Well, responsible for monitoring security alerts. It's not an achievement. It's a task description copied from the job ad. Tell me exactly what you actually did and what the result was. Impact is everything. Mistake 3, no mention of hands-on projects or labs. If your entry level and your resume has 0 projects on it, that's a major red flag. It tells me you've studied the theory but never applied for it. Even one well-documented project changes the conversation entirely. So if you have done it and it's not listed, put it on there. If you haven't done any projects, do that next. Mistake 4, keyword stuffing or ignoring keywords entirely. Some people write their resume with no thought to ATS keywords at all, and others go the opposite direction and stuff every buzzword they can find into a wall of text. Now, both approaches don't work. The sweet spot is using the exact terms from the job description, naturally woven into your experience and skills section. Be strategic, not spammy. Mistake 5, poor formatting. Inconsistent fonts, cluttered layouts, columns, and graphics that break ATS when they try to parse it. Keep it clean. Use a single column layout. Standard section headings, experience, education, skills, certifications. Save it as a PDF when you actually send it to someone and test the format and make sure it works. And please try and keep it to 2 pages or less if you have less than 5 years of experience. If you're cutting content to fit, cut the oldest and least relevant work first. Never reduce your font below 10 or your margins below 15 millimeters. All right, mistake 6, send in the same resume to every job. I did cover this in the last section, but it's worth repeating because it's one of the most common mistakes. A resume that's tailored to a SOC analyst role should look noticeably different from one tailored to a GRC role. Same person, different emphasis. If you're serious about getting hired, have at least 2 versions of your resume ready to go. And mistake 7, not including a link to your LinkedIn or portfolio. Remember, your resume is a summary, it's not the whole picture. If I want to learn more about you, I should be able to click through to your LinkedIn profile easily or your portfolio site and see your projects, your learning journey, and your professional presence. Make it easy for me to find you because if I can't, I'll find someone else. Okay, section 5. Quick action plan. If you're watching this and your resume needs work, here's exactly what I want you to do this week. Today, I want you to rewrite your professional summary. Use the formula. Target role, relevant background, top 2 skills, 1 differentiator. 2 or 3 sentences, be specific. This part's a game changer. Tomorrow, I want you to audit your experience section. So go through every bullet point and ask yourself, does this show impact or does it just describe a task? Rewrite anything that starts with responsible for, add numbers wherever you can. Day 3, build your keyword list. I want you to find 3 to 5 job descriptions for the roles you're actually targeting. Copy them into a document and highlight the skills and tools that appear most often. Make sure those exact terms appear in your resume. Day 4, add your projects. If you don't have any yet, start one this week. If you do, make sure they're on your resume with proper descriptions and links. Day 5, get a second pairs of eyes on it. Ask someone to review it, ideally someone in cybersecurity or recruitment. Fresh eyes catch things you'll miss after staring at it for hours. And one final tip, your resume is a living document. Every time you learn something new, you complete a project or earn a certification, update it. Don't wait until you're job hunting to realize your resume is 6 months out of date. So there it is, the cybersecurity resume framework that actually gets interviews. Clean header, specific professional summary, targeted skills section, impact-driven experience bullets, certifications ordered by relevance, projects with documentation, and education to round it out. Avoid the 7 mistakes I covered: generic summaries, listing responsibilities instead of achievements, having no projects, keyword problems, poor formatting, and sending the same resume everywhere, not linking to your online presence. Now, I want you to do this. I want you to tailor every application. Mirror the job description and keep your resume updated. You can have one version saved on your computer with your generic version. I want that one to be formatted lovely. I want it to have basic version of your professional summary, and you've got one saved. Now, what you can do each time you apply for a job ad is you can get the job ad up, your generic resume, and tailor that resume for the specific job ad. That way, each time you apply, you go back to that resume, tweak it, apply it to the job you're going for. It will save you a lot of time to spend that initial effort getting it done and then tailor it for each one. Now, if you haven't seen my video on building a cybersecurity portfolio, go watch that next because your portfolio and your resume work together. I'll link it in the description. Now, drop a comment and tell me what's the one thing you're going to change on your resume after watching this. I read every single comment and I'm happy to give feedback. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. As always, keep leveling up your career. I'll see you on the next video.